Boys, and today we'll be talking about spoilers for the Barbie movie. I don't know why I said it that way, but okay. And if you guys didn't watch the first video, don't worry, boys. This is just for the video. This is just for the video. Okay, so I don't know why I bought this. This was pointless. You can't even barely see it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so as you guys know, I gave Barbie the movie an 8 out of 10. Either I'm gonna get roasted for that, or people are gonna be like, you know what? Yeah, he's kind of right. I don't know. Okay, anyway, so yeah, we're going to spoiler territory. Okay, so one negative thing, all of the negatives are the spoilers, really. So, the first negative that I encountered watching this movie was, honestly, it was doing really well in the first first 30-ish minutes, 40-ish, I guess, until, okay, my biggest first issue I encountered, and almost all the way through, really, the entire film, was the character Sasha. Okay, I get it. Okay, by the way, Sasha is the little girl who's like in that weird edgy phase where like she's too cool for anything and like everything's trash around her. I mean, the actor does a great job at showing off that, but she did such a good job that I hate her. Like, I don't hate her, the character though. It's like, oh my, like, okay, so Barbie comes up. In the real world, Barbie, alive, the real Barbie comes and meets her in real life in her like school. It's kind of creepy in a weird way. Like, she doesn't know this person. There's just like some grown woman searching for a kid in a school who doesn't have kids. But anyways, so I mean, she just roasts Barbie, like calling her like a fascist, saying she's the reason why women are the way they are, and like she's not helping the issue. Like, what is this? Like a political speech? Like, how old are you supposed to be? Why is she talking like this? Like, this is the kind of thing that I talk about that's kind of cringe that I find in the movie. It's like, bro, first of all, no one would ever talk like this. I mean, I guarantee there's someone out there who will or something, but I've never in my life met anyone who acts like this this kid. Like, these words it's like she's literally just like, it literally seems like she's going off like a checklist of like specific words and topics she's supposed to mention for the movie about like just diversity. It's just like, okay, dude, I'm here to watch a Barbie movie, not get just all of this like, bro, chill. We're running a Barbie movie. But okay, whatever, they did it. So, and then Barbie runs off crying, which I mean it is what it is. I mean, she's a Barbie, so I mean, so that's one of the first negatives. And like, so the main baddie is the patriarchy boy. And at first I was like, oh, okay, here we go. But actually, it kind of, in a weird way, sometimes it worked. Like, the whole scene, because it kind of worked out in a weird way. Because Ken went with Barbie. Actually, it was originally supposed to just be Barbie going to the real world to like find her inner self and all of this. Because the whole reason she's doing this is because like she's kind of like starting to like fall apart here and there, like her feet, rather than being like for perfect shape for heels and all that, were like flat-feeted. And like she just woke up with like bad breath and all of this. Well, at first she goes and meets, what was it? Crazy Barbie? Weird Barbie. She meets Weird Barbie, which is like the Barbie that everyone kind of remembers, like the messed up Barbie with like cut hair, terrible makeup on, and like always in the splits and all of that. I mean, I know what that looks like. And so yeah, Barbie goes and meets Weird Barbie, and then Weird Barbie gives her like a destination of like, honestly, it doesn't make much of any sense to me, but I don't think it's supposed to. It's just the Barbie movie. It's the beginning of the plot, basically. She just did all these crazy things that somehow, which they don't ever mention. So I don't quite understand it still. They are in Barbie land, but somehow from Barbie land, they're able to make it to reality. So by doing that, they have to first travel by, like, what was it? Travel by car, then, like, boat, then bicycle, something like that. Like, all of these weird things that they have to do in order to, like, make it to reality. It doesn't make any sense, but it makes a cool, like, transition scene where you see them. It looks kind of cool because they do it in, like, a way where everything still looks toyish and, like, Barbie-ish rather than, like, real. So it is kind of cool looking. As cool as a Barbie movie, you know, whatever. Well, trying to find her inner self and all that in the real world, the reason she's doing that is because in the beginning she was talking about, like, death and all these issues that are popping up. And what is causing it is her owner, who is having issues or something like that. We don't quite know yet what their issues are, but we thought it was a kid was having issues in her life and was taking out the dolls, and that's why Barbie, something like that, where she was experiencing it. And so Margot, you know, Barbie, goes on this adventure to figure out what's going on. And it is kind of cool seeing Barbie and Ken in the real world interacting with, like, real people, since they are, you know, dolls or whatnot. It's kind of cool. And seeing Ken in his rollerblade, dude, those are so cool looking. Alright, so yeah. And then this is basically when I don't know. I feel like the overall real plot, it's about Ken and Barbie. Kind of. I know the whole real, it's trying to, like, Barbie trying to find her inner self and what's, like, all of that. I get it, but I feel like the majority, because I just got done watching a couple hours ago, is Barbie and Ken both trying to find their inner selves while coexisting in the same world. Kind of, that's how I thought it was going, but the ending of this movie is kind of whack in my opinion. So anyways, while we're in the human realm still, or real world, Ken starts wandering off while Barbie's thinking in her inner self. Like, Barbie's sitting down thinking, trying to figure out, because she's in the human world trying to find her owner, kind of. She's just supposed to know, apparently. And Ken's being annoying. I mean, according to Barbie. So Ken starts walking off, and he ends up seeing, because this is another one of those points they have to, like, make sure you're paying attention. The whole world is run by men. Barbie's like, because in Barbie Land, Barbies are everything. They're the president. They're literally everything. They're the Supreme Court. Everything is ran by Barbie. So in the real world, when she sees all of these positions are men, and that bothers her obviously, because I mean, she thought what she was doing in Barbie Land was, like, helping the real world be like Barbie Land, kind of. But then Ken sees it the opposite, because, and this is where I think the main plot kind of, like, comes in. Ken is a huge factor of it, surprisingly. Why am I going this deep? Whatever. So Ken sees it because in the world he's from, Barbie Land, I mean, everything is ran by Barbie, and Ken, this is kind of whack. I mean, I understand why Ken does the things he does later in the film, because in Barbie Land, do they even have houses? They even make a point to this later on in the film. Barbie, they all have their little dream houses here and there, and they all live in, like, nice houses. We don't see Ken's where do they go? When it's dark out, they're just like, I don't even know. I think they just lay on the ground. I don't know what they do. Sleep in the beach? I don't know. So when Ken's in the real world, he sees how things are actually ran by men rather than just everything ran by Barbie, and Ken's just to the side, thrown just to do whatever. He gets kind of hyped. He's like, okay, there's men actually doing things. And then he's like, oh snap, I can do this now too. And then he gets those ideas in his head. And this is when the whole, like, patriarchy thing comes in, boys. Where, I mean, it's kind of funny at first. Honestly, everything, dude, Ken's epic. Kenergy. But he starts going and gets books about all kinds of manly things, pretty much. And he starts reading about it. And that's where he hears about the word patriarchy. But he doesn't understand what that word meant. he actually thought he thought patriarchy was about horses. And he said horses were like an extension of like Kens or something like that. But the way he goes about it, because while Barbie, because at the time too, I didn't explain this, but Mattel, the like owner, the actual like real life owner of Barbie, you know, the doll and all that. Okay, they don't really touch upon this, and I think it's probably a good idea they don't, because it doesn't make any sense, and I think it wouldn't work. But somehow Mattel is aware of the fact that there is a live action Barbie, and well, at first, I think one dude comes in from like lower levels to the top level to tell the head of Mattel, the CEO, that Barbie and Ken, there's like a real life Barbie and Ken out there, and they're trying to like catch them. And the CEO of Mattel, by the way, is actually Will Ferrell. And this is one of the things I'm talking about. Yes, I think he's a good actor. He does his roles good. I mean he's like the comedic act. Well, I think every role he's ever been in, he's like the comedian, pretty much. I think he is. Anyways, he does a good job with his role, but this is one of the things I'm talking about. Entirety of the film, I don't think he has a legit 5 full minutes of screen time entirely. I don't think he does. And this is one of the things I'm talking about. Especially with an actor like Will, he got fat dough for that role, boys. They could have had literally anybody do that role. And they could have put so much more money towards the set. You know what I mean? Like, they could have done... He got so much money, boys. You know he did. I mean, I don't know how much, but whatever. It doesn't matter. He got so much money for like 5 minutes. Not that I care, because I mean, that's epic for him. But anyone could have done that role, honestly. I mean, isn't he also in the Lego Movie? And he's like the same... Wait a minute. Doesn't he have the same like role kind of in the Lego Movie, the original? Isn't he like the main baddie? Whatever. So yeah, anyways, how the CEO Will wants his information given to him by the guy who knows of Barbie and Ken. He wants him to whisper it. So they do this thing where they whisper it. And by the way, they're at this like huge table with like tons of dudes. So he whispers it in the first two, and those two whisper into those ears. And by the time it makes it to him, it seems like half the information actually got out, and only Barbie's out there, and he didn't hear about Ken apparently. At least that's how I took it. I could be wrong, but he didn't seem to be aware of Ken, just Barbie. So they have black trucks going, Mattel trucks, or what, I don't know. How did the company, they kind of made Mattel look bad. Not that I'm defending Mattel, but were they just okay? Because it seems like they're like, how could this have helped them in real life? Them looked at as like the bad people of the movie. Whatever. It is what it is. So they go and basically capture Barbie. Because she's, at this point, this is when she just got done getting Barbie got roasted by Sasha. So she's sitting outside, talking to like an old lady or something, saying she's pretty. And like the old lady's like, yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cute. Whatever. So she gets self-abducted. She's willingly going with them because at this point she is like in disbelief that this little girl Sasha could have been her owner or whatever. So she gets in the Mattel trucks, assuming this is where she's actually supposed to go. So she goes to like the head of Mattel, which is obviously Will, and they go up top. I'm not sure what this was gonna do, and I don't even really know if the directors or whatnot knew what this was gonna happen if they did it. But what they were wanting Barbie to do was get in the, like, literally, it looked like a box like this, and they wanted her to get in it where they like, you know the zip ties everyone hates when you're like a kid, you have to undo from the back. They're trying to do that to like her arms, like put her in like a life-size box. But what would have happened if they would have done that? I mean, they started like tighten down. She's like, oh wait, 1 second, I need to go, I think, to the bathroom to fix my hair. And they're like, aight, whatever. So then she starts running off, and then she goes, obviously doesn't go to the bathroom, and once she starts running, they realize she's trying to escape. So then they have like this, they're just chasing her throughout the building. And then what is weird, and I don't know why I know this information, she runs through her room. At first it was like, what the heck is going on? This is kind of creepy. But she runs into her room, and it's just like a pitch dark room at the very end. Well, pitch dark in the beginning, and then at the very end, it's like a normal sized like room with like an old lady in it. And then she goes and sits down with her and starts talking. She's like actually kind of chill. And I'm disappointed in the audience, boys, at the movies, because I knew who she was. I don't know how I knew, but she's Ruth, you know, the creator of Barbie, like, you know, real world Barbie, like, you know. But for some, I don't know how or why, I don't know why I knew that. But then she said her name Ruth, and I'm like, and then the audience, I'm like, really? The thing is, they're all chicks. Everyone's a chick around me. I didn't see a single guy in the entire movie theater, just me. Well, wait. I don't know if I said that properly. Whatever. Somehow no one caught on to that, or at least they didn't. They're all just like, got that fluoride stare, and they don't seem to have any emotion or whatever. But I knew it, and I was like, that's kind of cool. And then she left. But then when she left, I'm like, wait a second. For like a good 5-10 minutes, I was thinking, I don't know how old Barbie is, not the actor or actress or the Barbie, but the overall company of Barbie, you know. I'm like, there's no way she can still be alive, right? And by the end, we find out, kind of in like a weird way, the CEO of Mattel, Will Ferrell, is aware that there's like a room on the top floor or something of like Ruth, who's like a ghost. And she is like a ghost, because she is dead in real life, I think. That'd be kind of whack if she's not. Whatever. I think she is dead in real life. I think she died in like 2002. I don't know. I probably should just look. Whatever. So yeah, she's dead. But it's kind of weird because she's talking to a ghost. And it does make more sense now that I think about it, because the room is like, why does it look the way it does? So it is kind of ghosty. So yeah, she was in a ghost room. Makes sense. And then after that, she talks to her. And then Ruth tells her of an exit, because the CEOs of the Mattel, like the Mattel Men in Black, pretty much are coming to like try to capture Barbie. And then she actually runs into, because I didn't mention this, but earlier on in the film, what do they call, the secretary or something, was like drawing pictures of like Barbie all messed up and like weird. And that was actually at first I'm like, what the heck is going on? Is she all there mentally? Why is she drawing such terrible photos of Barbie? That's what I was thinking. But and that was like it just kind of goes away after that. But then we find out that she's actually the mother of Sasha, which we were at the time supposed to think Sasha was her actual owner. But we find out that I'm gonna have to look. I don't remember the mom's name. Okay, her name is Gloria. So the mother of Sasha is Gloria, and she is Sasha was the actual owner. So I'm trying to think of how this world works with Barbie. Like, because it seemed like for a while, Sasha, the little girl, I guess, wasn't playing with Barbie because, you know, she's too cool in that edgy phase. But every day up till the point to where, so it's been like, it seems like a couple years maybe that she wasn't playing with Barbies, but Barbie in Barbie Land and all the Barbies and Ken dolls were doing okay. So it seems like negative energy, so as long as they're okay in a box up in the attic, it seems like they're fine. It doesn't make any sense. So this isn't like Toy Story where the physical representation of them in real life is affecting the way they are. I don't really know how to explain it, because it's like they act, because the thing with Weird Barbie is her hair got cut and she got whack makeup on, so it affected her in Barbie Land. So it's almost like they're JoJo stans. I don't know how to explain it, because it's like they have physical dolls. They must have, because that's what Sasha was playing with when she was a little kid. Or all of the Barbies and Ken dolls aren't Sasha's, but the main Barbie, Margot, the owner of her was Sasha, I think. And it seems like they're fine as long as like negative energy isn't put upon the dolls, then it starts to affect them in reality. Well, in Barbie Land, because she was doing fine. It seems like she was put away in an attic or something for quite a while, and she wasn't bothered. She doesn't really seem to know. So it's not Toy Story where like they're aware of what's going on, but it's more like they don't really go too deep into her unless I missed it. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but she doesn't start to get affected and like almost experience an ego death until Gloria, the mom of Sasha, starts drawing photos of a messed up Barbie, and somehow that affects her in Barbie Land. And the only reason we thought Sasha, I don't even know. No, Sasha was the owner, but she was about to throw Barbie away, but Gloria, the mom of Sasha, grabs Barbie and takes her out because she misses the old good times that she had with Sasha when she was younger, when they would play with Barbie and all of this, I think. So yeah, I'm not too sure how it fully works, and they don't really seem to touch upon, they kind of do, but not really, so it's not as straightforward as like Toy Story, where it's like, it's pretty obvious. They get messed up, they're messed up because that's them. It doesn't seem to fully work like this. I'm not too sure how it works, but I don't think anyone's going to go watch Barbie to like figure out exactly how they're affected in real life compared to the dolls in Barbie Land. Okay. So at this point, while all this is happening to Barbie, Ken walks out of, the library with all the books. And what he decides to do is goes back to Barbie Land, which this part is kind of whack. Not whack, but I'm like kind of surprised because he's so almost solely dependent on Barbie at the time, which I think is a cool progression of his character, knowing that like Barbie has to find her inner self, Ken does as well, but he also has to figure out like what his purpose is without Barbie, because everything Ken does is evolved around Barbie. You know what I mean? So what he finds is the whole like, the patriarchy and all of this stuff. So he goes back to Barbie Land and turns into like Ken Land with like this Kenergy. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's funny. So all of the Ken dolls, well, they're not, it's kind of, whatever. All the Kens brainwash the Barbies into basically being their slaves and like housewives and all of this stuff. While all the Kens take over like the Supreme Court, become president, and like do everything. Well, Barbies are just kind of like, I mean, they don't do really anything. So it's kind of like a flip where Barbies were in control of everything while the Kens didn't have anything to do, and now it's flipped, and now Kens are in control of everything, and now Barbies are basically just like slaves, really. Which I honestly, I understand, because I felt kind of bad for the Kens in the beginning. Like, I don't think they have houses. I don't know what they do. Even like, there's a scene where Ken was trying to go over to Barbie's because Barbie's having like this giant party at her house with all the Barbies were gonna be there, but Ken wasn't invited, so he's just like out in the cold with all the other Kens, I guess. I don't know. I don't think they have houses. I'm not sure where they go. But now it's flipped, and now it's Ken Land instead of Barbie Land and all of this. But the Barbies at the time, well, the main Barbie, Margot, doesn't know that yet. Currently, she's with Sasha and Gloria trying to escape Mattel, while Barbie finds out everything I just told you about how it was Gloria like drawing photos of Barbie, which like caused her to feel these issues somehow. And then they like become like besties, kind of. Well, Gloria and Barbie kind of do. So they go back to Barbie Land. Sasha's complaining the whole time. Like, bro, really? We're literally about to go to Barbie Land and you're complaining. We're heading to Barbie Land, so by doing that, we have to do all those cool transition things where you're like on a bike, then like a boat, then like a car, all of these things. And then they make it back, but while they're there, while they're arriving, they slowly start to see it didn't look the way it did when she left. It's because now Kens are in control of everything. Which Barbie obviously doesn't like that, because it's supposed to be Barbie Land, not Ken Land or whatever. Honestly, it's just kind of like retaliation in a weird way towards all. Well, it is, because it's almost. I understand this point so far in the movie. I'm completely on board with what they're trying to do, kind of. But they didn't the movie did not get executed the way I was hoping it did. And I'll touch upon that in a second. But so currently, Kins are in control of everything. They're all the Supreme Court justices. They're president. They're in control of everything. And they're trying to change like the constitution of Barbie Land, whatever that means. And this is our main Barbie is the only one who has not been brainwashed by the Kins at this point. Well, actually, there's two. Main Barbie and Weird Barbie. Weird Barbie lives by herself in like some weird messed up house with like a plastic dog. I actually remember the commercials for this thing. You feed it, and when you push it, its tail goes up and it like poops balls of plastic poop. Kind of whack, but... So she tells her... Well, at this point... No, that doesn't happen yet. First, main Barbie just kind of gives up. And she's like, yeah, I'm just going to give up, hoping a Barbie comes out and saves the day, pretty much. And this is when Sasha steps in and is like... Well, both Sasha and Gloria both step in and are like, yo, I don't think there's going to be a hero to come save the day. You're going to have to do this on your own. And this is like Barbie just like straight up gives up and like face plants and just like lays there. And this is when Sasha and Gloria start to leave. I kind of want to know, how does this work? I know it's like a Barbie movie and it's like, who really cares? But it's kind of interesting. Humans literally went to Barbie Land. Like, is this a different dimension? I mean, bro, I don't know. But they do it. They start to head out of Barbie Land, and then they run into like a bunch of Kins, like building a wall or something, but like vertically rather than horizontally, because whatever. And at the time, I forgot, what was his name? He's not a Ken. I didn't mention this. He's not Ken or Barbie. He's his own beast. What was his name? Oh, okay. I don't know if this is legit. Is there an actual Alan? Because he seems to be like the only one. What? Holy, okay, he actually looks like... Okay, that's kind of funny. I didn't know there's an actual Alan. So it seems to have been like a failure, like a new version of the Ken doll that just did not work. So that is kind of cool. So there's an Alan. And by the way, Alan, since he's not Ken or a Barbie, he was not brainwashed by the Ken propaganda pretty much. So he was trying to escape with Sasha and Gloria. And he actually gets out and like beats up all the people building a wall so they can leave Barbie Land because he hates it now. But at that point, they're like, you know what? No, let's turn around and go back and stop this. So they turn back around, and then Alan's like, bro, because he just got done beating up like 13 construction workers to help them escape. And then they just turn back around. So he realizes basically, why am I talking? Why am I doing this? He realizes he's never going to escape Barbie Land, so he ends up going back with them. And then this is when I think it was Gloria basically tells OG, you know, our Barbie, that Barbie, that saying how women are like treated terribly and all of this stuff in like the real world, and how they're supposed to have all of these like expectations, they're supposed to do all these things, just, you know, all that stuff. And that triggered something in Barbie realizing, I mean, what did that trigger? I don't know. It helped her out, get her out of this depression that she was in. By her doing that, she went and told, they started slowly like sneaking away, like undercover. I think Alan was part of it too. Yeah, Sasha, Gloria, our Barbie, and Alan, I think, and Weird Barbie went and slowly captured all the Barbies and like unprogrammed them pretty much to where they would be back to normal, but not normal, kind of normal, but actually more. See, this is where I feel like the film starts to kind of fall apart. Up to this point, I'm like 90% on board with what they're trying to do. I'm like, okay, I understand. It's like a female empowering move. I mean, it's literally called Barbie. I get it. So I understand up to this point. But after this, it almost just seems kind of like I'm almost agreeing with the Kens. Because I'm like, so what Barbies are trying to do now is basically what the Kens were doing, but flip it. to where all the Kens, I mean, because pretty much the Kens are just all alpha males, really. I mean, that's literally what they are. That's pretty much what they are, and obviously this movie's trying to make a point that they're all pretty much stupid, and they're like, you get it. You get what I'm trying to say, right? That's pretty much how this movie was trying to make all the Kens look. So, by what they did was they slowly unprogrammed all of the Barbies, and after doing so, they put all of the Kens, our Barbie went with not our Ken, but Ryan, main Ken, because that's what he was always wanting the whole time. Barbie, I mean, because in reality, isn't that what they're for? Barbie and Ken are for together. They're meant for each other, right? I'm pretty sure. That's how it's always been, I think. So that's what Ken, I mean, literally, he's designed to be with Barbie, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I never played with Barbie, so I'm not too sure. I'm just assuming. But, so Barbie and Ken were meant for each other, I guess. So the whole movie, Ken's basically trying to get with Barbie, and Barbie's like, nah, Chief, I don't think so. So, she fakes it, though, to get Ken basically on board with what she's trying to do. So he starts singing a song to her, and he's completely, like, basically going back to normal, or, like, the way it's supposed to be, I think. And then, like, during the song that he's singing and playing guitar for her, she pulls her phone out, and she's talking to another Ken, and that gets Ken jealous, so she goes to the other Ken. So that same scenario was happening to all the other Kens at the time. So all of the Kens were playing songs for their Barbie. And then they were all on phones, and then they all, like, switched to get basically all of the Kens jealous and, like, in a war against each other. So there was, like, a giant full-on war going on between the Kens fighting. And I mean, like, how is this any better? Like, I understand, like, it was kind of overboard what the Kens were doing with the whole situation. Like, Barbies were basically useless, and Kens are in control of everything. So, I understand that's kind of, like, overboard, but now it's, like, flipped and almost worse. So now they're trying to get the Kens are literally in a war fighting each other. I mean, it's in the best possible way a war with Kens can be, really. I don't know. It was a cool scene. I liked it. So they're fighting and all that's happening. And the Barbies were just, like, watching. And while they were fighting, all the Barbies were, like, cleaning all the houses and giving everything back the way it was so they can be in control of everything at the time. And while they were fighting, it seemed like they slowly came together at the end. But it was almost, like, too late because the Barbies were, like, became back in control of everything while the Kens were back out on the street. Dudes, why am I going this deep in a Barbie movie? I don't know. So, I was, at this point, I was, like, hoping main Barbie, I think the movie could have been higher. I don't know much better, or higher, an 8 out of 10 for a Barbie movie, but I don't know. I mean, 8 out of 10 is that's pretty epic for a Barbie movie, really. Is it really an 8 out of 10, boys? I can't, like, whatever. It is what it is. It's an 8 out of 10. But at this point, I feel like it would have been a higher 8, even though I don't even know how to review properly. I still give it an 8, but it would have been a really high 8, I guess. If this would have happened, and this is where I was hoping the movie would go, because Margot's got very interesting facial expressions when she's, doing her acting and all that, as Barbie. And it seemed like she was almost displeased with how it was going currently with all the Barbies back in control, but she never really seemed to have shown it. When I was hoping she would be like, okay, Barbies, wait, this is too far. Now it's back to the way it was where all the Kens were back on the street with basically hobos, just trying to please Barbie. I was hoping she would be like, because by the way, like I said, when she's back in reality, Barbie and Ken, they saw the world how it was basically flip-flop of how Barbie Land was. Or, I guess supposedly, they're trying to say all men are in control. And okay, this is one of the things, guys, I know a decent amount about politics and the Supreme Court justices. I'm pretty sure they mention it 2 or 3 times in this movie. And they made a point later on in the film. Okay, in reality, I think at one point there was 2 Supreme Court justices on at the exact same time. What was it? Amy Barrett, I think, and Ruth Ginsburg. I mean, I know Ruth died, but it's not like she was removed, and I'm pretty sure she was on at the same time Amy was. So technically at one point, just recently in time, there was 2 Supreme Court justices at the court. I don't know exactly the wording, but there was 2 there at a time. So it's not like in the movie they're trying to make it seem like that's like never been a thing and that never can be a thing, and by doing so they're doing the opposite. Even the narrator comes on and they're like, basically Barbie Land is doing the opposite of what the real world is doing. But in the real world there was 2 at one point, but in Barbie Land they make a point. One of the Kens comes up and says, can I become a Supreme Court justice? And they're like, absolutely not. I'm like, okay, what kind of message are we trying to send here? Because this is worse than reality. At least in reality, there is a few, but in Barbie Land, there cannot be any. Like, what? What kind of... This is making it seem like the Barbies are the bad ones. Like, I was hoping at this point they would come together and be like... I mean, because Barbie and Ken went to reality and saw that it was, like, not as pleasing and, like, grand and beautiful as Barbie Land was. So I was hoping they would come back together, neutral grounds, and realize that they can make it great again together. That they would come together at the end and be like, okay, let's have this world be for Barbie and Ken rather than just one way or the other. But they kind of don't. So the movie starts off pretty terrible for the Kens, like a 3, no, probably like a 3.5 out of 10 for Kens, and Barbies are 10 out of 10s. By the end, it was like a 1 out of 10 for Kens and like 11 out of 10 for Barbie. Like, it got even worse at the end for Kens. I mean, that's how it felt. You'd think it would be like neutral grounds. Kens and Barbies, you know, side by side. That's how I was hoping the movie on. That I feel like would have made a better example, or like whatever they're trying to, like, you know, program us with. I feel like that would have been a better, what's the word? I guess example? I mean, I don't know. I think that'd be way better. Because currently now, when I left the movie, I'm like, I feel kind of bad for the kids. Because it's worse than reality. And then they keep making all these points that are like, women aren't in... I understand. I mean, men are in control of a lot more than women are currently in the world. But they go too far extreme. They go to the far extremes, though, in this movie. There's never been a woman president, woman leader. I mean, there's no Supreme Court justice women. Women are not in control of anything. I mean, like, bro, just currently in the world we are in right now, there's, like, prime ministers. I mean, just recently, the Queen died, right, of England. I mean, it's Queen of England, right? She was a queen. From, like, birth to death, pretty much, right? And there are currently Supreme Court justices. Our vice president is a woman. So it's like, at least make it, like, somewhat coherent with what's, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I understand they're trying to, like, push like certain topics, but at least make them, like, accurate. You know what I mean? I don't know. I thought this is the cringe I was talking about. I mean, I understand what they're trying to say and somewhat makes sense, but then they're like going to the extreme, and I'm like, okay, there are Supreme Court justices, and they mention it like 3 times. I'm like, bro, there are though. There are female Supreme Court justices. So I'm like, what are you talking about? Our vice president is currently a woman. So it's like, what are you talking about? And there's prime ministers who are women. We had a Queen of England. What are you talking about? I don't know. But okay. Whatever. So, and at this time, by the way, Will Ferrell and like the Mattel somehow make it to Barbie Land. They just know how to do it. I don't understand it, but they do. So they made it to Barbie Land, and at this time they're watching everything go down, and I'm not too sure. This is one thing I'm a little confused by throughout the whole movie. Who exactly is Will Ferrell? A bad guy? I mean, he says I think he kind of is. He's supposed to be like the sexist and all this. I get it, but he said the reason he's doing it is for like little girls and like their dreams, which at first sound kind of whack. I'm like, did they really just say that? That sounds pretty whack. But then they obviously make a joke of it in the movie. I'm like, okay, well, at least they're aware of how whack that sounded. But then, so by him saying that, I mean, he's in it for the right reason, right? I mean, it's Barbie. You know what I mean? It's Barbie. So he is aware of that. His company is basically for girls, really. Kind of. That's how it seems. So, I mean, I guess he's supposed to be the bad guy. I mean, he was trying to like lock Barbie away, so that's kind of whack. But even what would that have done? I don't know, but by the end, I think Gloria's the mom, Sasha's the kid. Oh yeah, Gloria talked to the head of Mattel, basically saying we should make a Barbie who's like a normal, everyday, normal like person Barbie, rather than like a glamorous Barbie. And I'm like, I understand again that this is like another thing they're trying to push. I understand, and it probably, honestly, I don't know if that would make money. Like, if I'm gonna go out and buy I did. If I'm gonna go out and buy a Barbie, am I gonna buy a, okay, to sound more normal, I'll do this. If I'm gonna go out and buy a, well, I don't know, does this sound more normal? Am I gonna buy a pretty Barbie dressed up nicely, or am I gonna buy a Barbie in slacks who's got messed up hair and their mascara smeared across their face and in Crocs? You know what I mean? It's like, the only people who are gonna buy what I just said are people who are collectors, honestly. Normal girls are not gonna buy a smeared mascara, messy hair, slacks with Barbie. They're gonna buy a nice looking in a dress Barbie. So I understand though, once again, it was for the movie, and I get what they're trying to say. Not everyone can be glamorous as Margot Robbie, which is completely, I mean, true. I mean, boys, she is like the definition of Barbie. That was such a good role. I mean, honestly, dude, I don't know whose decision that was, but these two were they are the perfect Ken and Barbie, 100% in my opinion. Anyways, okay, back to what I was saying. Okay, this is another thing I was talking about I didn't want to mention until spoilers. There was a ton of cameos from some very popular individuals. One I didn't even know all the way through the movie. So that's already a problem. Apparently she actually was in the movie and had a scene or two, and I didn't even know. So there goes at least a couple $100,000, and I'm relatively like less fluoridated than the normal like average viewer. I mean, that sounds like I'm super base, but you know what I'm saying. I'm relatively engaged with what I watch usually, and I didn't even realize she was in the movie. Dua Lipa. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. She's like the famous singer. Apparently she was one of the mermaids, I think. At least she was a Barbie. I didn't even notice. I noticed her song playing, but apparently she was also in the movie. Like, physically there. I didn't even notice. So, I mean, that's a problem right off the bat. Another thing, John Cena was a mermaid, or kinmaid. Whatever. He was a kinmaid. A merman. He was a kin merman. Which I thought was it was a funny reveal. But I genuinely don't think he had more than 60 seconds of screen time the entire movie. I think he said 5 words in total. He probably got paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not a couple million. Right there. So much more money could have gone towards Barbie Land. And like the outfits. I mean, it all looked phenomenal. But it could have looked even better if they had a couple extra 100 million. Or not couple extra 100. Couple extra million. You know what I mean? I know, that thing always kind of... It's very confusing. Like, I don't think the audience is that stupid where we're like, we have to have massive famous actors to be like... I mean, I don't know. At least I don't. I mean, I think the main two Kens, or the main Ken and Barbie, should be relatively good known actors. I mean, you know, but like having John Cena and like Dua Lipa and Will Ferrell, I mean, all of these people, I don't think we needed them. I mean, it's good. I mean, I'm not disappointed that they're in the film, but there was no real need, you know? Honestly, I don't know. So, the real. Oh, and yeah. By the end of the film, what I was hoping, like I said, was that it would go to equal grounds. It didn't exactly go that route, and I was kind of confused. I understand it's a women empowering film, and that's the reason why I didn't go that way. But I feel like that's a better message for the younger audience rather than just having it be strongly one way or strongly either all men, basically, or all women, and that's it. I think it should be neutral, boys. I mean, that's how it should be, really. Neutral. I mean, that's what I was hoping they would do, but they didn't. And boys, what's funny is later on in the film, you see Ryan Gosling, or Ken, in with a I am Ken enough. Dude, what's funny, I mean, you'll just have to believe me. There's no point in me pulling up my phone. Before I went and saw the film, I saw that shirt, I am Ken enough, and I was almost about to buy it. I think I still am. It says I'm Ken enough. It's like $60. I'm like, what? But whatever. It says I'm Ken enough, and by the end of the film, he's wearing it. I was like, bro, that's hype. So I'm probably gonna buy it just because it's like a meme. But I don't know, dude. Another weird twist that they do at the end that I don't really enjoy all that. I didn't really enjoy the ending too much. Yeah. Oof. I don't know. It's not, the ending isn't bad, but the ending message that is sent was kind of like, I mean, okay. I almost felt kind of like, am I gonna be attacked in the movie? Because I'm the only guy in the entire theater, and it's just chicks packed all around me. And this whole movie's basically like, men bad, men bad, men bad, men bad. I'm like, am I gonna get attacked? I was starting to genuinely feel like that, like, oh snap. And I was hoping by the end, it'd come together, but nah, just Barbies take over again. But I mean, okay, whatever. I mean, it's Barbie. I get it, but I just think that would have been a better. And at the end of the day, I think that would have been better for everybody, because it's not like just girls are gonna watch Barbie the movie. I mean, I went and watched Barbie the movie, and I don't understand this for marketing. Why does it have to be one way or the other? Have both, both Barbie and Ken equal by the end, so the majority of the audience will like the overall message better. You know what I mean? Because having all Barbies in control of everything and Ken's down here and like literally hobos, I mean, the majority of women who are going to leave are probably going to be like, either that was a little extreme, or okay, cool. And then the majority of men, some are gonna be like, I mean, the ones who are like simps and stuff are gonna be like, yeah, we belong in the trash, or something like that. And or they're gonna be like, well, or like me, I'm like hiding in the movie theater. I'm like, bro, you're making me seem like a villain here. What the heck is going on? You know what I mean? If they left it equal grounds, both men and women who go to the movie are gonna be like, okay, good message. But now when I'm leaving the theater, I'm like, because it's like, they're making me seem like a bad guy. What the heck? Whack. But, I mean, I get it. It's not called Ken the movie, it's called Barbie the movie, so it is what it is. And this was besides that cringe, and it's not fully, when I say cringe, it seemed, there was some pretty darn cringe, like, almost straight up lies during the movie, like what I was seeing, like the Supreme Court justices and how women are in power of nothing. It's kind of just disingenuous for like multiple reasons. And two, it's that there's gonna be a young audience watching this who are gonna hear these things and they're gonna be like, this is facts. What they're saying is straight facts and truth. And I'm like, bro, it's just not. But there's some of the things they're saying is just like straight lies. And then it's making their whole message even less, like, impactful, because it's like half of it's a lie. You know what I mean? And then they're doing what the Kens were doing, which was terrible, but now that the Barbies are doing it, who cares? So I thought that was the kind of cringe I was talking about. It's kind of like, kind of whack. So honestly, I know the movie is an hour and 54 minutes long, and if I was in control of the movie, like I was the editor or whatever of like I was the final editor of the film, I would probably cut at least 20 minutes out of the film. Probably 20, 25 minutes. Because a lot of the scene, there's a few, I don't know, less. Every scene that had Barbie and Ken, like, dude, goated. So good. All of the scenes in Barbie Land, I think were goated. But if they would have just cut out some of like the messaging, like, oh my, like, when I go and watch a movie, especially something called Barbie the Movie, I don't go in to get like, I want to escape reality for at least an hour and a half to be entertained and not have all these messages. Like, dude, I can just turn TV on or something to get these messages pushed towards me. But for the most part, I'm on board, kind of. I mean, as you can tell, I gave the movie an 8 out of 10. I gave the movie an 8 out of 10, boys. I did that. Wow. But yeah, see, besides those, yeah, that was the only problem really I found with the movie. Oh, that, if, I know I keep, this is the, like, there's only like three top issues in this entire film, really. The messages that they're trying to push would be a lot more impactful if they were fully accurate. Some of them just felt like straight lies, in my opinion. Two would be, I mean, Barbie is glamorous, boys. And when we get Sasha dunking her, no one's gonna watch this and be like, yeah, I'm really happy this character we don't know at all is dunking the main beautiful Barbie. You know, like, no one wants to see that. The entire movie, I'm like, until like the last 2 minutes of the film, I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot stand this kid. Dude, oh my gosh, she was bothering me so much. She was just negative Nancy like the entire movie. I'm like, oh my god, really? And the third one was the full ending, the final ending, which I didn't really touch upon yet. But Barbie becomes, she talks to Ruth, the ghost, the creator of actual Barbie. And she wants to become, well, she wants to like live her own life rather than being a Barbie, kind of. So she decides to become human and live our everyday life. I mean, it is what it is. I don't see, there's nothing like terrible about this, but in my opinion, I would have liked it better if she just went back to being a Barbie. Then, you know what I mean? For multiple reasons. One, I just think it would have been a better ending for the overall film if she just went back to being like, you know, normal Barbie. Not necessarily like the fake happy Barbie, like everything's great and like, but I mean, she could be happy again. I mean, why not? It's all back to the way it was, but almost like they're more in power now than they were originally. But see, this is the reason, this is probably the biggest issue, in my opinion. After figuring out all of this information, who she truly is and all of this, why couldn't she make Barbie Land the world that she truly wants it to be for the out there? You know, everyone is truly 100% equal. We don't got men or women above each other. We're all on equal playing grounds. You know what I mean? We're all leveled. But no, she leaves Barbie Land for good to become a human, which this, I don't understand. This is one of the things I'm talking about. They don't touch upon it too much because I don't think it makes much of any sense. And I don't know how I don't even think they know how to explain this. So she becomes a human. She talks to Ruth and like, she's like, yeah, I want to be a human. So she becomes a human, and then it cuts to her in the back of Sasha and Gloria's car. And then they drop her off And I was thinking she was going to get like a job or something, but she's just going to the gynecologist, and the movie cuts the credits. I'm like, what? I mean, okay. I mean, it was kind of funny. I don't know. For two reasons, I wish she would have just stayed Barbie. One, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but there would be a possibility for a sequel. I don't know, boys. There could have been a sequel. And two, I mean, throughout the whole movie, Ken Ryan is in love with Margot's Barbie. Or Barbie Margie. Or Margot's Barbie. Barbie the Margot. Ken, Ryan is in love with Margot, Barbie. And he's just never gonna, like, see her again, I guess? Like, Ken's soulmate, Barbie, is forever gone. So he's just gonna be, like, walking around, like, posing up against the side of the wall, all sad and lonesome. Like, bro, what? That is so whack. I mean, I guess maybe he can go and visit her. I don't know. He can do that transition thing where he goes and he becomes in the human realm for a while, or I don't know how that works. But it is what it is. And then it cuts. And this they had ample opportunity. I was waiting the entire movie to hear Barbie Girl, the song by Aqua. They finally play it in the credits. I mentioned this in the non-spoiler video. And it's completely butchered. This is obviously very opinionated because everyone loves whatever kind of music they like. They completely butchered it, in my opinion. This was the perfect opportunity to play the OG Barbie Girl song. No. They play some whack. I mean, I'm not gonna say whack. I mean, in my opinion, it's whack. I don't even know the rapper. It's like a Nicki Minaj. I don't even know who it was. It sounded like our current rap music, like a Barbie Girl mix of it. It sounded awful, in my opinion. That would have been the perfect time to just play the original. Why do you gotta butcher all the OG music? Just play it. You don't have to do anything to it. Just put the disc in and hit play and record it for the outro or the credits. How hard is that? I mean, at least we get some of it, so that's kind of a cool touch. But they should have just played the OG Barbie song. And then the movie's over. I'm sitting down while everyone's leaving, so I'm not the only guy, whatever. So I'm sitting there like this, and I'm not a weirdo, but after seeing my decent fair share of Marvel movies, I realized it's kind of grained into my head to stay till after credits. So I'm watching, credits go up, looking, and then I turn around. I'm the only one in the entire theater. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, okay, cool. At least I can leave and, like, kind of sneak away, knowing that I'm not the only guy in the theater. And there is nothing after the credits. So I'm like, nice. So then I leave. But yeah, that was Barbie. Okay, what's this movie called? It's just called Barbie the Movie. Okay, that was Barbie the Movie. Dude, I usually don't care too much about movies, really. I almost never go to the theater because they're almost all terrible. But for some reason, this movie got me to go see it. It was not overall. I mean, I give it an 8 out of 10, boys. I don't know. I haven't looked at any reviews. I don't know how this movie's doing. So either I'm somewhat in the ballpark of how it currently is, or it's getting like 3s out of 10s, and I'm like gonna get hard L's. I don't know. But I really enjoyed it. For how this is, I mean, boys, this movie, I mean, it's about live action Barbie and Ken dolls. it did really well. Every besides the negatives I said, every moment felt like really good. It felt like a good movie overall. It really did. Like, I actually liked it a lot. I don't even know if this video is gonna go out, but I can't believe I'm doing this. I've never done a review, boys. The first one I do is Barbie the movie. But I went full on out. I can't believe that. Dude, that was like the cringiest moment of my life. I have a cart full of Barbie items. People staring at me. The lines were backed up. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like trying to like hide in my inner self, pretend I'm not here. It was cringe. Or in the theater when I'm like, they're like, just one for Oppenheimer? I'm like, no, man. One for Barbie. And then all the people in front of me were chicks, and they're all looking back at me because they're realizing I'm going to Barbie. And literally, I'm not kidding. I didn't see a single guy in the entire theater, boys. It was just me. Like, bruh. I can't believe I just did this. Alright, well. Yep, 8 out of 10, boys. 8 out of 10. I was thinking maybe if when I went to the spoiler section, it might drop. But I haven't really done reviews, and I'm not like a review enthusiast or whatnot, so I might be... I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because if 1 is Rubber and 10 is The Shining, and I got Barbie at 8, something is wrong with my scale, boys. Something's wrong. I mean, I don't know, boys. Should I give the movie 8 out of 10? I can't believe I did that. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Oh, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, okay. This was my Barbie review, boys. Well, spoilers. I don't know. Is this going to be one video or two? If it's one video, boys, I think it's going to be about over an hour. I cannot believe... Okay, here's another thing I'll talk about. I really enjoyed the actual... If you were, like, deaf and you watched the credits section of the movie, it was actually pretty good. Because it showed... It was kind of, like, interesting. It showed a bunch of, like, actual Barbie dolls and, like, the canceled versions and stuff. You're like... Because I didn't mention this, but there was a few, like... I don't remember the name, but there was a Barbie where you, like, lift its arms and, like, put them down or something, and, like, its boobs grow. Like, I'm not even kidding. There's a pregnant Barbie. There's a Barbie with, like, a camera and TV thing in her back. I mean, there's all kinds of whack Barbies, and, like, shows them all, like, all the canceled ones. And, like the actual ones and, like, the credits and all. It is kind of cool. It's neat. Especially for someone who doesn't know anything about Barbie. But for some reason, I'm the only one that knew who Ruth was. I'm kind of disappointed. I don't know why I knew that, but I did. But hey. And dude. I don't know how much I want to talk. I feel like I'm praising this movie too much, boys. I feel like I'm just gonna get fat L's. But I don't know, dude. Every scene that had Barbie and Ken were just goated. It was so cool, dude. All of Ken's like dances and like singing. Dude, watching Ken sing and dance, dude, epic. Dude, he's gonna become like the new Chad, boys. Like, it's currently Patrick Bateman or whatever. Dude, he's gonna with like Kenergy and I'm Kenning up. It's gonna happen, 100%. And Margot's always like. I mean, she's gorgeous, boys. Like, for real. I mean, she was the perfect Barbie, in my opinion. So, yeah. Okay. I still don't know if this is going out. But... Whoa, this movie's PG-13? How? I think there's only 2 reasons in this entire movie it's PG. Yeah. One was when Ken and Barbie go into reality, the dudes were all checking out Barbie because, I mean, she's attractive. And she says that I do not have a vagina and Ken does not have a penis. I think that was one of the reasons. And the second one? Oh, well, there was like the president of Barbie Land. It said the F word, but it bleeped it out with a Mattel logo over her face. I guess that was it. I mean, I don't know if that was worth it, boys. Wouldn't they have made more money if it was PG? I mean, I guess technically there was like fighting or whatnot, but it was all using like tennis rackets and like balls. So I don't think that would have... That was it, really. Those two scenes, I think. Was there anything else? Nah, dude, I think that was it. Strange. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, I went inside. I didn't know, so who cares? But yeah. Alright, I'm in here. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Because... yeah. I can't believe I'm doing this. Yeah, this stuff was expensive. I can't believe I bought these, bro. I can't believe I bought this. But yeah, I'm in here. I hope you guys enjoyed.